Hi everyone, once again welcome back to English Time. How are you all? Hope you are all keeping fine. You are all staying safe and sound. Did you complete the assignments that I gave you in the previous class? Have you sent it to your teachers? Yes, I know you have. Very good. Have you lost anything that is quite valuable to you? How did you feel then when you lost it? What have you done then? You might have searched all around the house, asked your parents and siblings. And finally, if you happen to get it back, how did you feel then? You would have felt quite happy, feeling that the whole world has fallen to your arms. Isn't it? Okay, so here is the story of a boy who lost his valuable gift and finally found it. Let's watch the video and come back.
Once there lived a boy. He had a favorite toy which he considered very dear to him. When he woke up one morning he could not find his dearest toy. So he started searching everywhere for the toy. He then stood there thinking where might he has put the toy. Whether it was under the sofa or under the pillow. He then started searching in the box where he had kept his toys. He even checked under his sister's frock but in vain. Checking his bag and under his pillow was a failure. He started crying thinking about the lost toy. He thought to himself, I'll have looked in every room and even under every book, under the chair and under the stool. But I could not find it. He cried, where have my toy gone? And then a miracle happened. His grandmother on her way back home from her walk found something on the way. She couldn't recognize what that thing was. When she noticed, the thing could sway and bounce. It could also spin and dangle. She was very much happy to find such a strange thing. She giggled to herself thinking of the things that toy could do. As she reached home the boy was very happy to find his lost toy with his granny. He thanked her for finding his dear yo-yo. Granny was excited to hear such a funny name. She hasn't heard or seen anything like that before. She exclaimed that it was a funny toy and she wants to play with it. She also added that it gives her immense joy. Saying this she went to lie down on her rocking chair, started to play with the yo-yo while the boy watched it with sorrow.
Dear friends, are you fond of the game hide and seek? Yes, most of us are fond of this game. Especially in a circumstance like this, what else would be more nice, isn't it? Okay, and we know the rule of the game, isn't it? There will be a seeker who will be counting numbers from 1 to whatever it is, and he will start searching for the people who are hiding. Okay, he will just cry out, ready or not, here I come, and then he start searching for them. Okay, and in this story we have seen that our hero Raja was hiding in the cowshed. He had been hiding there for long, isn't it? And what else was happening there? His grandmother, she was very much worried about him. And then a lot of things happened. It just went off from his hands. He never thought of such a turn in the events. And let's see what happened.
The news spreads. Then grandfather stood up and went outside and called aloud, "Come, Raja, come. I won't beat you." But I did not answer him, for I thought that he would beat me. Grandmother was angry and said, "He won't come. You drove him away. I heard you say that you would beat him if he came home. Poor child, he is afraid of you and has run away." Grandfather called the servants and asked them to go out and look for me. They went out but after a while returned to say that they could not find me. Grandmother started weeping. Grandfather started walking up and down the courtyard. The news that I was missing spread. Our neighbors came first, then our relatives and then others who had heard the bad news. Many came to offer their sympathies to grandmother. Grandfather did not like this. He shouted, "Nothing has happened to the boy. He is hiding somewhere. Can't some of you go out and find him instead of wasting your time here?" Some of them went out to search for me. More and more people came and soon there was a big crowd. By now grandmother had lost all hope of seeing me again. She started telling the people what a good boy I was. The search parties returned without finding me. Grandmother started weeping loudly. The women in the crowd also wept. The servants of the house joined in the wailing. They all acted as if I were dead. I felt very sorry for grandmother. I wanted to come out. Grandfather was a man of strong will. But I knew that he too felt very sad. He did not, however, lose hope. He stood up, turned in the direction of our family temple and prayed. "Help me, God," he said. "Give me my child. I want him now. I cannot wait any longer." He then stood silent in prayer. At that moment uncle returned. He learned what was happening at home. He looked around and guessed where I was. He came to the cow shed and asked me to come down. Uncle took me into the house. Grandfather had just finished his prayer and turned. As he opened his eyes, he saw me standing before him. He took me up in his arms in joy, hugged me and said, "God heard my prayers and has given you back to us."
So you have listened to the story. How was grandmother's reaction when she knew that Raja was not at home? She became angry with her husband and blamed him for threatening Raja. In the story, we saw that grandfather lost his temper. What may be the reason? Yes, there came a lot of people to sympathize over the missing of this particular boy. And grandfather was not at all ready to accept this. And that was it, made him furious. Who did grandfather send in order to search for Raja? Yes, the servants in their house. They were sent out in order to search for Raja. And what may be the reason why these people were unable to find Raja? They didn't go to the cowshed. They were all looking around in the homestead except for the cowshed. Fine then. And finally, who found Raja? Yes, his clever uncle found Raja from the cowshed. Yes, in the lesson, we have came across 2-3 new words. Okay, the word weep, W-E-E-P, weep. What does it mean? In the story, we saw that grandmother started weeping when she came to know that Raja was not at home. What was that? Weeping. She started shedding tears. Then, as time moved on, when the search parties came back to say that they were unable to find the boy, this weeping changed to wailing. W-A-I-L-I-N-G, wailing. What does it mean? Wailing. Okay friends, this wailing and weeping, they are the same as crying, but wailing, in that case, that's a loud, high-pitched cry. Okay, whereas weeping is a slow cry with tears shedding. Okay, and then again you can see another word, hug. What does it mean? Hug. You might have experienced the same a number of times in your life, especially from your parents and dear ones. Yes, what is hugging? Throwing one's arms around another person in order to show affection. Okay, very good. In the story, we saw that Raja hid in the cowshed for a long time. He was there for a long time that the servants and the neighbors, they were all searching for him around. And do you think that it was right for such a boy like Raja to hide in the cowshed for a long time? Do you think he was doing something right? Or he was wrong? Okay, share your views, note them down in your notebook and send it to your teacher. Okay, now that we have completed the whole story of Raja, life with grandfather, which part of the story did you like the most? After having seen all the events in this story, which part of the story do you like the most? Okay, just go through the story once again and find which part of the story feels more appealing to you. Okay, and share your ideas with your teacher. Okay then. Okay friends, we have a few more activities left. We have got an activity 2 on page number 20. There you can find the characters in the story talking to each other. A sample conversation is given there. You will have to find the picture and you will have to write the most suitable dialogue for each character. I hope that it is quite easy after having finished this lesson. And once you have completed writing this conversation, we can see that those pictures, those are the main events in the story. You will have to choose an event. You will have to blow that up into a script. Okay, you need to bring in the characters. There must be dialogues for them. There can be settings, what their behavior or what their expressions are. So in such a manner, you will have to fix the events, fix the characters, fix the dialogues and bring up the script. Hope that it is clear to you. On coming to the last part of our lesson, we have got 2 more activities. In activity 4, you can find that Raja is trying to narrate all these events that happened at his home to his friend. And as you can see, there are a lot of errors in that. You'll have to find the errors and correct them and rewrite the passage. Okay. We are all fond of our grandparents and it is good that we wish them in the occasion of Grandparents' Day. And in the last part of your text, as activity 5, you can see a number of greetings given in a box. Okay, from the collection, you will have to find the most suitable expressions to greet on the occasion of the Grandparents' Day. Complete these tasks, okay, and send it to your teachers. Thank you for listening. Have a nice time. Bye bye.